the night of November 12, 2024. A date that would forever be etched into the history of the small, forgotten town of Blackwood Creek. Rain didn't just fall that night. It waged war against the earth. Thunder wasn't just a sound. It was a physical force that shook the very foundations of every home, a deep, guttural roar from a sky bruised purple and black. The wind howled like a banshee, tearing at ancient oaks and rattling window panes with a desperate, clawing fury. It was a night when the veil between worlds feels thin, when you can almost hear whispers carried on the gale, voices from somewhere else. This wasn't just a storm, it was a precursor, a warning. Inside the old Miller house, a single flickering candle fought against the encroaching darkness. This house had a history, a dark energy we'd investigated before. Cold spots that defied explanation. Disembodied voices captured on our digital recorders, speaking in languages not of this world. The family who lived there, the Hendersons, had reported strange phenomena for weeks, but this night was different. It was the night the storm brought something with it. The air grew heavy, thick with an oppressive static electricity that made the hair on your arms stand on end. Every shadow seemed to stretch and writhe, taking on a life of its own in the pulsating light of the lightning flashes. Then a sudden, deafening silence. The wind died. The thunder ceased. The rain stopped as if a celestial tap had been turned off. It was a silence more terrifying than the storm itself, an unnatural, suffocating void. Outside, a strange, ethereal green light bathed the entire property, filtering through the windows and painting the walls in a sickly, otherworldly glow. It pulsed rhythmically, like a giant, unseen heart, beating in time with the terrified heartbeats of the family huddled inside. They were no longer just dealing with a haunting. They were at the epicenter of something far more ancient and terrifying. This is the kind of raw, unfiltered moment we live for, the point where the known world crumbles and the paranormal takes over. The Hendersons described a feeling of being watched, not just by spirits, but by an intelligence that was cold, calculating, and utterly alien. The silence stretched for what felt like an eternity, a pregnant pause before the true horror began. The green light intensified, casting long, distorted shadows that danced like spectral figures on the walls. The house, once a sanctuary, had become a cage, and the family were the unwilling subjects of a terrifying experiment that had just begun. The front door, which had been bolted and locked, slowly creaked open. No one was there, not in the physical sense at least, but something had entered the home. It wasn't a ghost, not entirely. The EMF meters we later analyzed from their security footage went off the charts, but the thermal camera showed a bizarre distortion, a humanoid shape that was colder than the surrounding air, a walking void of heat. The family, paralyzed by fear, could only watch as this invisible presence moved through their living room. A single wet footprint, not of a boot, but of something with 3 long, slender toes, appeared on the wooden floor, glistening in the green light before slowly evaporating. The entity made no sound, yet its presence was deafening. Objects began to levitate. A child's toy block rose into the air, followed by a porcelain doll whose eyes seemed to track the invisible force. The family's dog, a brave German shepherd, whimpered and hid under the table, refusing to bark. This wasn't a typical poltergeist activity. It was a display of power, a deliberate and controlled manipulation of the physical world. The air crackled with energy, and a low, humming vibration resonated through the floorboards, a sound that seemed to bypass the ears and settle deep within your bones, causing nausea and a profound sense of disorientation. Then came the voices. Not from a single source, but from everywhere at once, layered and discordant. The television turned on by itself, cycling through channels of pure static, and within that white noise, whispers began to form. They spoke the family's names. They recounted private conversations, secrets known only to them. It was a terrifying psychological assault designed to break them down, to strip away their sense of security. This was an intelligence that could not only move objects, but could also seemingly read their minds, peeling back the layers of their consciousness with invasive precision. The green light outside suddenly vanished, plunging the home back into near total darkness, save for the static-filled glow of the TV screen. The levitating objects dropped to the floor with a deafening clatter. The invisible presence, the three-toed visitor, was gone. But it left something behind. Not a physical object, but a message. A riddle. It appeared etched into the condensation on the living room window, written in a shaky, spectral script. A challenge left behind by a paranormal and possibly extraterrestrial force. A puzzle born from the heart of a storm and the terror of that night. Now, we're going to present this riddle to you exactly as it was found. This is a real-world paranormal mystery. A message from the other side, or perhaps from another world entirely. This is one of the most compelling pieces of evidence we have ever encountered, a direct communication from an unknown entity. I want you to listen carefully. Close your eyes if you have to. Imagine yourself in that house with the storm raging outside and an unseen presence in the room with you. Feel the cold, the fear, the raw energy that permeated every inch of that space. The words are simple, but their meaning is something we are still trying to understand. Here is the riddle, etched on the glass by an unseen hand. I have no voice, but I tell you your secrets. I have no body, but I wear a house as my skin. I arrive with the silent storm, and I leave with the first light of dawn. I steal a memory you never had, and leave a footprint that is never wet. I am the question that has no answer, and the guest who is never seen. What am I? This is the puzzle left behind by the entity in the Miller house. A set of contradictions and impossible statements that defy logical explanation. Think about it. Each line is a paradox. How can something without a voice tell secrets? How can it wear a house as skin? The memory you never had? What could that possibly mean? It points to a manipulation of time, of consciousness itself. This isn't just a clever word game. We believe it's a description of the entity itself, a calling card left for us to decipher. We've consulted with paranormal experts, linguists, and even astrophysicists, and no one has been able to provide a definitive answer. It remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in our case files. We want to put this out to you, our global family of investigators. We believe the answer is out there, locked away in the collective consciousness. Analyze every word, every phrase. Put yourself in that moment of high strangeness and terror. What is it that comes with a silent storm? What steals a memory you never had? Post your theories in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join the investigation. We need your help to crack this code. We're offering no clues, no hints, just the raw, terrifying evidence as it was presented to us. The riddle has haunted paranormal circles and online forums since the footage was released. Thousands of theories have been proposed, each one more intricate and imaginative than the last. Some suggested it was a poltergeist, a manifestation of the family's own psychic energy. Others claimed it was a sophisticated demon, playing cruel games with its victims. Many leaned into the extraterrestrial hypothesis, suggesting a fourth-dimensional being whose very presence warps our reality. The riddle became a legend, a test of paranormal intellect, with the answer always just out of reach, shrouded in the same mystery as the entity that wrote it. The beauty of the riddle lies in its construction. It's designed to send the logical mind into a spiral. A footprint that is never wet, a memory you never had. These are not physical possibilities in our understanding of the world. They are concepts that exist on the edge of perception, in the realm of dreams and nightmares. The entity was not just asking a question, it was demonstrating its nature. It was showing the Hendersons, and by extension all of us, that the rules of our reality are fragile and can be bent or broken by forces we cannot comprehend. The riddle itself is a piece of high strangeness technology. For months, the answer remained a complete mystery. The Henderson house fell silent. The activity ceased as abruptly as it began. It was as if the entity had made its point and moved on, leaving behind a single, lingering question as the only proof of its visit. We returned to the location multiple times, running every kind of experiment, but we could not replicate the conditions of that night. The answer was not in the house, not in the EMF readings, and not in the static of the white noise. It was hidden in the one place no one thought to look. It was in the silence that followed the storm. The answer to the riddle is nothing. Not the concept of nothingness, but the word itself. Nothing. Nothing has no voice, but it can reveal secrets in its absence. Nothing has no body, but it fills a house, wearing it like skin when it's empty. Nothing arrives with the silent storm. Nothing can be stolen from you, even a memory you never had. The footprint of nothing is never wet. Nothing is the question that has no answer, and the unseen guest. The entity was a void, a literal pocket of nothingness that imposed itself on our reality, a chilling, intelligent, and paranormal vacuum. The ultimate answer was the emptiness it left behind.